There was a time before Fox when elections had consequences and losing parties worked largely with the majority to enact what was seen as the will of the people based on fair and free elections. It was called the 1990s. It was around the same time we introduced transition lenses. You know, transition lenses, half light, half dark, but always on pedophile tint. Based on elections, the majority party voted in by the people set the legislative agenda, and the minority party protected the interests of their constituents by taking part in the legislative discussion and presenting counterproposals to move forward the interests of the American people. It was from that process of counterproposal that Republicans birthed Obamacare. It was simple, and can you believe it? It was normal. Year in, year out, election cycle after election cycle, that was the way it worked. That is, until Fox. Before Fox, Bill Clinton got his dick sucked, was like, okay, ready to work. Let's do universal health care. And Republicans were like, okay, don't want to do health care, but you won the election. How about an individual mandate so people have to buy insurance and it stays private? That's democracy, putting away elections and getting on with the people's business while still defending your constituents' interests. Compare that to how Republicans were able to react to any agenda the first president of the Fox era presented.
Our top political priority over the next 2 years should be to deny President Obama a second term.
They were the minority party. They lost the election. That's not how democracy works. You win some, you lose some. You move on, legislate, get ready for the next election. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. It's not sometimes you're Nicole and sometimes you're OJ, but that's what happened in democracy. It got stabbed in the face for fucking a waiter. Not because of the fucking, but because the waiter was a member of the working class. But Republicans don't get away with any of this without the covering fire that Fox provides. Okay, Mitch McConnell is OJ, and Fox News is Al Cowlings driving the Ford Bronco down the American highway of partisan divide. And all this anti-American shit is only getting more normalized by the engine that created it. That's fucking poetry, baby. Call me Rimbaud. Between the time Fox was introduced in 1996 and the year 2000, it was found that Republicans gained between 0.4 to 0.7 percentage points in presidential elections in towns that previously did not have Fox News. Naturally, this raised eyebrows. So they did a follow-up study, and to make sure it was objective, they based the study on the random order channel numbers in any market, meaning the lower number that Fox or any other station was in a channel listing, the higher the viewers. Researchers were able to study the effect Fox and other news channels had on a particular area of the country, regardless of political leanings of that area. What they found was massive and revealing, like waking up next to Shaq All-Star Weekend. CNN and MSNBC were found to have no impact regardless of channel number. The stupid, impotent motherfuckers. Fox was different, of course. Look at the effect Fox had on the presidential race and how it increased over the years. What was a 0.46 increase in Republican vote share in the 2000 presidential race became a 3.59 increase to GOP vote share in 2000, enough to change both of those elections. That Fox effect grew to a whopping 6.34 increase in 2008. Without Fox, a race Obama won by 6 points would have been pushed to a 13-point blowout, dramatically changing policy and the very fabric of America itself. Yeah, it turns out Fox influences the country in the same way those two girls were influenced by that one cup. That 6.34 increase Fox provided in the 2008 election was found to be large enough to account for the entire partisan divide of that era. Again, this Fox effect was large enough to account for the entire partisan divide of that era, and it's sure to have only grown since then. That means the gap between what Republicans used to be and what they are now is solely attributable to Fox. That's how the simple process of running the government becomes impossible for the same reason a healthcare plan all of a sudden gets treated like the first minority at the country club. That partisan divide means Republicans don't get punished for their shitty behavior. It'd be scary enough if Fox was just influencing Republicans, but it has a powerful effect on Democrats too. Here's the kicker and the brilliant part. Fox was found to make both the Republican and Democratic legislation more conservative. Extend that over time, and that's how Obamacare and cap and trade can go from conservative free market-based solutions to socialist communism, because those are totally the same thing. God damn, I'm good. Culturally, the country has moved left, sure, but politically through Fox, we moved this country further to the right than arguably it's ever been. This rightward goose-step march has completely corrupted Republican policy by baiting and giving them cover to do some truly heinous anti-democratic shit. And it's not both sides. Besides the obvious hypocrisy, McConnell doesn't even take up amendments for legislation anymore. It's down 67% in just 12 years, all under Republican control. The American Senate was once called the world's greatest deliberative body, and now it's just as bad and weird as the House. We took it from this
Go Charlotte, it's your birthday.
to this.
Go Charlotte, It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday.
The legislative process in America is deader than Carol Baskin's first husband. I mean, we've broken the government. Literally, it doesn't even function. Before the rise of the right-wing infrastructure and Fox News, there were 4 government shutdowns lasted for a total of 4 days. After the repeal of the Fairness Doctrine that allowed for the rise in hyper-partisan right-wing media, there have been 6 shutdowns lasting more than 83 days.